how to transfer your photo to paper.
Okay, so what have I done here? I've printed out my reference photo on just standard inkjet paper, the thinnest paper. You know, the cheap stuff you get by the ream? That's what that is. And see how muted the colours look? That's what happens when you print on that cheaper inkjet paper. Over here is my reference photo printed on a nice photo quality inkjet paper, and it's matte. Okay, it's just a matte paper, so it doesn't shine back from the camera, but if you've got a glossy paper, that's perfectly fine. You can see the difference. So I wouldn't want to be drawing from this. Okay, I'm using this just to trace the image, and that's why I want the thin paper. It means I won't have to push very hard. Transfer paper, you can use any brand you want. This is a cheap one. This is by Royal Langnickel. As I said, I'm going to take this really step by step, this lesson. The darker side, that's the side that's going to transfer. So we want that downwards. Hopefully it's not too crackly and noisy for you. And all I'm going to then do, let's get that magnet out of the way. I'm going to use a ballpoint pen. You can use a pencil if you want. And I'm just going to draw around the darker areas for now, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Once you've done a couple of marks, lift up your paper just to see how the markers come out from the pressure that you're using. Don't worry if you go outside the line a bit, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I know I don't want to use much pressure. It's producing that line. No problem. Let's just fill these in. Now if you want to draw it, feel free to draw it. Remember, I'm just showing examples. This is going to be your drawing if you're following along, or if you're going to do it later after you've watched the video. And you can make the adjustments you want. So if you want to do different things, that's perfectly fine as well. All I'm doing, just indicating where these main parts are going to live. I'll probably push a little bit harder than I normally would, just so that you can see it better on camera. But I'm using a ballpoint pen simply because if I was using a pencil, the lines would hardly show up on the paper, and I want to know where I've been. So I'm not missing any areas out. I'm not going to duplicate any. But if you want to draw it freehand, that's perfectly fine. But what you don't want to be doing is making mistakes. So I would recommend then drawing it. Let's just put an indication where these darks are. Drawing it on some paper first, and then perhaps tracing your drawing like this. Okay, just so you haven't got mistakes. Let's remove the black paper, pop it over there. That looks pretty good, but wait, it's not all done. Now I'm bringing on white transfer paper. No doubt it's going to crackle a lot when I open it up. Here we go. So I'm not moving the reference, still in the same position. Okay. What I really want is to be able to pop that up right there, but that's okay. Okay. Let's put that like that. Right. The reason I'm doing that, I've changed it to the white paper, so this time white, bright shiny white is down. If I used a dark black line for the outer edge of that ladybird back of the shell of the body, that dark black line is going to show up. It's going to no doubt show up through when I put the pastel on top. I don't want that line to show up. it's less likely to show up if it's white. Hence the white transfer paper. If you've only got black transfer paper, go lightly with the pressure. And if you find you've gone a bit heavy with the pressure, just use a putty rubber or kneaded eraser, whatever you want to call them. They usually come square, and then they like blue tack, because they pretty much are blue tack, and you could then on your drawing just dab it and make the pencil lift off, or make the transfer line lift off. So now I'll indicate where these white highlights are going to be. It does actually pay to check again how light the areas have gone, but I'm going to chance it for now and assume I'm pushing hard enough, because the white doesn't usually come out anywhere near as vibrant and opaque as the black. I'm just having a check, looks pretty good. And you can always just, you know, if you definitely want to know where a white area is, you can cross hatch it or whatever you want. Just, I wouldn't just colour it all in though, because you could actually make the pastel resist. Let's do the edge of these leaves as well. And that's going to kind of fade away. And then we've got a bit of a real blur area there, but I'll just indicate where that is as well. Now if you want, you could do a couple of dots in the corners. I may end up moving it there by accident. That's going to just tell me where the border would be. Let's remove it all. And there you go.